Well, here is a brush treatment site that was worked on in March of 2022, so just about 2 months ago. We did this site in partnership with the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and the Minnesota Deer Hunters Association. This was completed through a Conservation Partner Legacy grant for $50,000, and we ultimately treated approximately 300 acres. This is a common management technique that we use here in northwest Minnesota. This site had not been disturbed for at least 30 or 40 years. And what you can see are these great big stumps from willow. And what we do is we come into these sites in the winter time when the ground is frozen with either bulldozers or tracked equipment that is capable of either shearing this down with the blade, or in this case, mowing it. And you can kind of get the sense of just how thick this site was. This is very valuable wintering habitat to not just white-tailed deer that are primarily browsers, but also for elk. They really hone in on these recently treated areas once the new growth starts to come up, and it helps out significantly in the winter time. Getting back to the project itself, we have great partnerships with organizations like Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, the Minnesota Deer Hunters Association, Minnesota Sharptail Grouse Society, the American Bird Conservancy, and a number of others. And having this CPL, Conservation Partner Legacy Grant Program in Minnesota, helps us out so much to get work done that we otherwise would not have been able to. So these nonprofit organizations are able to apply for these $50,000 grants and come up with a 10% match, and coordinate getting the contractors out here, and they work with us to identify these project sites that are in need of treatment. So again, like I said, under this one grant that we had this last winter, we knocked out about 300 acres. When you add that to work that I've done with other organizations like the Sharptail Grouse Society, American Bird Conservancy, and in-house with the DNR, we treated upwards of 1,200 acres this past winter. So we got a lot of great work done, and it's really exciting seeing it all come together. And we'll be monitoring this site in the coming years, and the plan would be to follow up and treat it in approximately probably 10 to 15 years, and just keep it more in that early successional habitat. You can see, so the area that we just walked through that was treated would have looked very similar to this before the actual treatment. So this helps put it into perspective what these sites are like when the equipment is moving into them. Part of this whole process is coming out and verifying that the work has been completed. So it's always a good excuse to step away from the office, get out in the field, and just be out in nature. So, and of course it's important to verify, yep, the work is completed. They did knock out the 22 or 30 acres, whatever it may be. So we come out here with the GPS unit to document all that, and then we relay that back to our organizations, in this case the Deer Hunters Association that's administering that grant. And then we, once the work is completed, the payment is processed and the grant is closed out. All right, well, last stop of the morning. This was a site that was treated in the winter of 2014, and this was a project with the American Bird Conservancy. And these sites, oh, there's some elk droppings. These sites were selected specifically for golden wing warbler. So again, this is about, I think, 7 years since this was treated, and random clumps of larger willow were left throughout the unit. And these sites are specifically selected to be adjacent to some older aspen. And what the golden wing warbler will do is nest out in these more open areas at the base of some willow or like Canada goldenrod. And then once the chicks fledge, they fly up into the adjacent aspen where they forage on caterpillars. So again, it was the exact same type of treatment that was used, and this would have all been mowed. And I'm not sure how well it shows on the GoPro, but all of the red osier dogwood is browsed, and also there's some elk browse way up top here. So the elk certainly utilize these areas. And next I'm going to show a video of a project that we worked on with the Minnesota Sharp-tailed Grouse Society. And in that situation, the Grouse Society was able to lease a dozer with a mulching head on it, and DNR staff operated that. And we had the perfect conditions in the late summer, early fall of 2021, where we were able to get out and put a hurtin' on the willow. And in that situation, the primary goal is to set back the brush in these large open landscapes, and to keep them open for sharp-tailed grouse and other species dependent on those habitat types.